turns into the afternoon.
Right. Well, this winter weather advisory, Brianna, it's not going anywhere. It's in effect until 6 p.m. for every single county in southeast Texas. It was even extended all the way to the coast this morning, as even coastal areas are picking up on some frozen precipitation. And that is why today is an ABC 13 weather alert day. And weather alert days continue tomorrow and Wednesday, as this bitter cold air, it's not going anywhere, and neither are the impacts. So today, here's what to expect. Freezing temperatures. That is why we're going to potentially see icy conditions throughout the day and even into the overnight hours. I increased all of these to the high range. There is the high probability that you will have bitterly cold wind chills, freezing temperatures, and even icy conditions on the ground today because of this cold weather. And we've even gotten reports of snow mixing in at times. Not the big, pretty, fluffy snow, but some snow that could be developing as it is just a very cold day outside. Now, 13 alert radar really painting the picture beautifully right now. This is scattered freezing rain mixing with sleet and snow at times across the region. And just a little bit of this is a lot when it comes to impact. So let's go farther north right now. You can see some clearing from Conroe to Huntsville, but we do have a nice pocket of freezing rain that potentially just moved through Cleveland to the west, where we've seen a lot of issues on I-10 with slippery roads and overpasses. Overpasses and bridges from this point out, potentially impassable. Don't try them. You see continuing to have some freezing rain and drizzle, potentially sleet mixing in near Sealy, and even closer to the coast, where you would expect that freezing line would be helping turn some of this freezing rain to rain. Potentially not so, as 13 alert radar is continuing to show that potential for freezing rain from Lake Jackson through Angleton and Brazoria County, through Galveston County, portions of southeastern Harris County, all the way up to Mount Bellevue and Chambers County as well, with that frozen precipitation right now. And the kicker really is, Brianna, any ice that falls tonight, it's not going to go anywhere. Tonight, even potentially tomorrow morning, because of how cold it's going to be. Tomorrow morning, we could be waking up to wind chill values, making it feel like 0 to 10 degrees with a hard freeze on the way. I'll have more on that and what to expect for the second.
Well, the big story on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, obviously the weather. So, all right, we're going to be streaming for another
13 weather alert days with the potential for not only wintry precipitation, but the bitter colds that will follow. Let me walk you through what to expect for the next 24 hours. Winter weather advisory still in effect for every single county in southeast Texas, as we still have some wintry precipitation moving through the region. That mix of freezing rain, sleet, even snow falling, leading to slippery roads and some of those impassable bridges and overpasses. So let's get right to 13 alert radar, because some new regions across southeast Texas are starting to see that wintry precipitation who didn't necessarily have it earlier today. So again, 13 alert radar, that bright pink line is the freezing line, which has now moved into Galveston. It's feeling like freezing in Galveston right now, but let's loop through the radar right now. A good sign is that we are starting to see even colder, drier air. Well, that's not a good sign, but it's cold enough and dry enough to start to limit some of the precipitation that is starting to move in. So we are starting to see areas clear from north to south, but here we go. Look at this, a true wintry mix right now falling just north of Beaumont, this area that could have produced freezing rain, sleet, and snow just passing through Chambers County a little while ago. Now, as for within the loop and the beltway across Harris County and Houston, we've seen a couple of areas of potentially heavier precipitation, likely that wintry mix, but including freezing rain just past south of Houston. So we could have some minor ice on the ground, ice accumulations on the ground south of the city, where we didn't necessarily have that earlier today across southern Harris County. But then also, we got reports from the National Weather Service that they saw flurries all the way down in League City. So let's zoom down there right now. Look at this. Potentially have snow falling in Galveston right now, with that wintry precipitation still working through Brazoria, Galveston, Chambers, and southern Harris County right now. And again, generally speaking, we're keeping any of this precipitation in the forecast through about 6 o'clock tonight. Then we dry out, but it gets colder from there, with morning lows dropping into the upper teens or lower 20s tomorrow. So any ice that has accumulated today, that is going to stay on the ground overnight tonight. And something that I'll be talking about in my forecast coming up is a new winter weather alert. Now, we still have a winter weather advisory that is going to be in effect through noon Tuesday. However, our northern and western counties, you now have a wind chill warning. We're going to discuss more of the potential health implications we could see from how dangerously cold it's going to be tonight and tomorrow morning coming up in the forecast.
Thanks so much, Elyse. And Elyse, you've been with us really all morning long, continuing to watch these conditions deteriorate. Has there been anything kind of surprising, or, I mean, has the system acted exactly how we predicted?
I'm thankful that I started to up the ante with the ice potential, but I don't want this to now be overlooked by the serious and dangerous cold we have tomorrow morning. It could feel like...
All hands on deck, certainly for Houstonians and us here. You will continue on our ABC 13 live stream. Inside Edition is coming up next on ABC.
A good tip, especially since we're dealing with ice and how slick it can be. Typically, the engine is in the front of your car, and it's very heavy. Typically, the trunk, you usually don't have anything in it. It's very light. So what I always used to do, even when I was dealing with ice storms in Missouri, where we would actually have 1/4 of an inch thick of ice falling from the sky and accumulating, is you want to put something heavy in the trunk of your car, because if you were to spin or slide, if you have something heavy back there, that will help even out the weight of your car, so that hopefully you don't tail spin as much as if it were empty. For me, that was usually a crate of old textbooks. I would just put it in my trunk and leave it there all winter.